it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Welcome to the Happy Half Hour. We just did a Happy Half Hour, so this is Happy Half Hour Part 2, which means we're going to create a... Steve-O, what are we going to create with two happy
We're going to create digital courage. We're going to pour
some
digital courage.
With two happy half hours, what are we creating?
We're creating a happy hour.
There we go.
I wasn't very good. There's only three types of people in this world: those that know math and those that don't.
That's right. Yeah.
I can't believe you, Joe. I thought for sure I had you set up, man. I thought for sure you always end with that song instead of start with that song, Lean on Me. And then we said something about how we need each other when we're down. I said that you got a song for you, Joe. And then you didn't play it. And then you started this one with Lean on Me. I was shocked. I was like, he's not doing happy. Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
It's digital delay, right? It's digital delay between my ears. Hey, welcome everybody to Happy Half Hour. I'm Mojo. I got here with my bro, Steve-O, brother studio. Oh, wrong finger over there. I mean, wrong direction, not wrong.
Yeah.
Never mind. Steve-O, introduce yourself to the crowd. Let them know.
I'm Steve-O. I'm a happypreneur. I'm here to help you find, turn on, and then walk alongside you in your happy. I'm here to help by bringing healing, encouragement, making you laugh, and making you ponder. But if you heard the last episode, you know that already. We're super excited that you guys are here, that you guys are listening.
That's right. I am Joseph Mojo McCarthy. I go by Mojo on all platforms. I'm a certified master transformation life coach.
Woo! Those are big words right there.
Yeah. I'm not sure what it means, but it's a great title.
I think it means you help people.
I help, yes, which is what you do.
One thing I like about you, Joe, is that you don't just help people when they come and sit on your couch, so to speak, like you do at a therapy session. Right. You're life coaching people. You've been life coaching people since I knew you in college. I mean, every time you're around somebody, you're coaching them. What does a coach do? I like what I think was Reggie Jackson that said it, the old baseball player, legend back in the day. He said something along the lines of what makes a great coach is a coach makes you feel that you're better than you actually are. And so then you end up rising to that and becoming that person. And Joe, that's what you've been doing that forever. You're a certified life coach, but you've been a life coach for a long time. You don't just life coach people when they're paying you. You life coach people when they need it, when they want it. But like you said in our last episode, it could be a good segue here, is sometimes people don't want the help. They want the help, but they don't want to be fixed. They want to feel their situation, or more importantly, they want us to feel their pain. They want us to feel their struggle. They want us, instead of turning the light on, maybe to sit in the darkness with them for a little bit, to just let them know that we care. Come means with, and passion means suffering. So compassion means to suffer with somebody. And so sometimes people just really need, I'm sorry, that's a way of sitting in the darkness with them. I'm sorry. Or is there anything I can do to help? Or sometimes it's just a hug, man, or just a pat on the back, or just a text, or it's just a whatever. The littlest things pay the biggest dividends, don't they?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I've heard it said, and this is like a cliche, that the little things are the big things. I'm like, what does that really mean? So here's a great example. And Steve-O, you and I kind of learned this together back on the wisdom days, is there's an ancient Hawaiian practice called Ho'oponopono.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's not a state fish. It's not the huka huka numu apua'a. It's the Ho'oponopono.
It's not a disease. You don't need antibiotics. It's not. I think I had Ho'oponopono before, but
with God's goodwill and a stick, I got it out. But anyway, Ho'oponopono is an ancient Hawaiian practice. It's based on 4 simple phrases that most of us learned as kids. We just didn't understand the power of them, or that you can combine them to create what the ancient Hawaiians practiced, and even to this day, is these 4 phrases are actually healing relationships between people. It's about reconciliation, and I think what's more important than that, right? The healing relationships. But the 4 phrases they only have 2 words in each phrase, and there's stuff that you would think, that's obvious, right? But it's, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, or forgive me, thank you, I love you. Ho'oponopono. And here's the deal, Steve. This is fascinating me, and I'm learning to practice it more intentionally, right? And that's when there's a breakdown in a relationship. the ancient Hawaiian chiefs would bring the people together that were having issues, whether it was in a family or between tribes or between siblings or whatever, and they would say these phrases to each other with sincerity. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And then they said, that's it. Whatever it is, whatever the issue is, we're done. That's the end of it. And they would move on to whatever. But that alone, which is very powerful because those are words that all of us want to hear and need to say. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. But then there's this whole book about this Dr. Hugh Lin, who was assigned to a mental institution, like a high security prison. The I forget all the details, but it's like the craziest. Nobody would even like to be the warden there because they wouldn't even last 6 months on the job because it was just too difficult because the inmates were just nuts and they were on each other all the time. So Dr. Hugh Lin, being a Hawaiian and understood the Ho'opono practice, at night after hours in his own office with nobody else around, he would pull out one file at a time for the inmates. And he would do this practice or a prayer, depending how you do it. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you.
So he would look at the file of the inmate and then
Yes.
say that out loud over them. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
So he would know who the inmates are, of course. He knows who they are. So he'd have them pictured in their mind, but they're not present in the room. And he would just say these simple, powerful phrases. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And now some people say, well, what was Dr. Lin sorry for? What was he asking forgiveness for? And really, as I understand it, he was asking forgiveness for how society had failed this inmate. Rather than blaming the inmate for whatever they did wrong and saying, you suck and so you should be removed from society, he was saying, as the ancient Hawaiians did, we've all failed you, so forgive us, society, for failing you, and then let's reconcile. Let's make
Right.
this
Plus, I can be sorry that you're going through a difficult time, and I get that a lot from people. I tell them I'm sorry. Well, you didn't do anything, and don't overplay that. Like Joe's about to finish a story here. The power of saying I'm sorry. I'm not saying I did it to you. Sometimes I did, right? But I'm not saying that when I say I'm sorry, I'm telling you that I'm sorry that you're hurting, and it's okay for me to feel sorry. I don't have to cause you pain to feel sorry for your pain. So after he said over these inmates, said each of their names, said it out loud. I'm sorry. I love. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. What happened?
Over time, the tenor, the tone of the prison starts to change. And again, he never did this directly with any of the inmates. Wow. And suddenly people are getting released for good behavior. And I think it was just within 2 years or so. I don't know exactly the exact length, but in a short period of time, relatively short period of time, this high security, crazy people place where nobody wanted to go because like the death sentence for your career, they had to close it down because they didn't have enough people in to keep incarcerated.
No way.
It emptied out. Yeah, it's miraculous, Steve-O. And if you just look it up, Dr. Hugh Lin, I don't remember exactly how to spell his name, but look up the Ho'opono, and I'll put it in the chat how to spell it.
I'm putting it in right now for you, bro. At least the name of it.
Yeah, Ho'oponopono, and you can look it up as a prayer or a practice. And so first of all, I was so fascinated by that. I use it as a song, and I'll share that song later in this podcast. It's the basis of the song. But also I found, Steve-O, that when I'm just I'm not connecting well with somebody. Now, I may say it to them out loud if I think they will receive it, or I just might say it under my breath, or I might say it in a prayer after hours. But I start using this practice to remind me, right, that just because someone has offended me, I have a responsibility. I have the ability to respond to say, okay, that's not my fault, but I'm sorry that it happened, and forgive me for anything I had to do with brought that out of you, and thank you, and I love you, and let's fix this. Let's reconcile it, whether we do it face to face or we do it behind the scenes. And I'm just rocking this Ho'oponopono practice as much as I can.
Yeah, I love it. I sometimes it's not always easy to say that, especially if I know I've caused somebody pain. It's hard to say I'm sorry. But if you train, Joe talks a lot about your heart is a muscle. And if you train your heart, if you train your brain, you can get it to get there.
Yes.
I do this. I don't wait till I feel I'm sorry to say it. I say it, then I feel it. And a lot of people struggle with that.
Right.
And they would struggle with the Ho'oponopono.
Right.
prayer too, or practice too, because like I didn't do anything wrong here. I'm not going to say I'm sorry. And they're what I'm saying is oftentimes they feel like they're being a hypocrite
Yes.
because I don't really feel it. Well, your feelings are fickle, right?
Yes.
Feelings and feelings will change that fast. Sometimes
True.
feelings are waiting to hear what the plan is. You know,
Yeah.
you said this before. Like and I'll let you tap into this in a second to take it a little bit deeper. But you said something along the lines of, your body isn't your brain isn't amoral or whatever. I'll let you reword it in a second here. But when it hears you say whatever you say, then it says, okay, here's the plan that we're going to do. And then it just basically tells you this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Our feelings belong in the car of our lives. They belong in the vehicle of our lives. We don't want to get rid of feelings. They're
Right.
important. We talked
Right.
in last episode that the negative ones are important as well. You can't just on a sound wave, on a light wave that goes up and down, you just can't stop at the medium point and say, let's get it back up again. That's a crash. That's a car test dummy, right? That causes whiplash. It's a whole to be fully human, you experience all these things. So your feelings belong in your life. They
Yeah.
belong in the vehicle of your life, but they don't belong in the driver's seat. That's the difference,
Right.
right? Feelings can be in the passenger seat or in the back seat. Sometimes I need a back seat. Sometimes I need to lock them in the trunk because they are just whack, right? But if I follow my feelings around, I'm going to get myself into trouble. I'm going to do things. I mean, how many of us have ever in life we're struggling because, right? Joe's raising his hand because we followed our feelings. Well, feelings will tell you, you do that now. Those guys deserve this. You do something now. I mean, the whole addiction thing is based upon following feelings. And a lot of people, I just read a post from a friend that we went to school with, Joe,
Yeah.
whose
Right.
son is gone now. And son became an addict and he wrote a letter. And his whole letter, he kept talking about, I don't want to do this, but I can't help but do this. And when you follow your feelings, it gets us to a point now where we sometimes our brain isn't even in the car anymore. It's nothing but our feelings. And we got people all over the internet these days yelling at each other. They're following their feelings. You get a post. I see a post sometimes and I'm ready to respond to that post. I'm like, they are so stupid. I'm going to respond to that. Why do I say that? Because I'm not seeing things from their perspective, right?
Sure. Right.
But when I get like that, I'm smart enough to ask my wife, and my wife has saved me so many times. And I'll try to talk her. What do you think, babe? No, don't post it. Come on, babe. I need to post that. I need to know. So your feelings belong in the car. They just should not be driving the car.
Right.
Your feelings are trying to tell you something. They're trying to help you get to where you need to go. But bottom line is, you lead your feelings. Don't let your feelings lead you. Joe, can you explain that a little bit better? The thing that you talk about, the brain isn't immoral, or I'm
Right.
probably, yeah,
No, no, you're exactly right, Steve, and you explained it very well. And it's this idea that our subconscious mind isn't deciding, right, is that good or bad? Is it going to have a good outcome or a bad outcome? Is I should or shouldn't? Your subconscious mind is waiting for just direction as to what are we doing, right? And here's the deal, and I learned this from Tony Robbins and others, that our words can, as Steve said, our words can tell our mind what we should be doing rather than our emotions. Now, both of them will tell our minds what we should be doing. And as Steve said, our emotions don't always get it right because of the passion that we feel. That's not a bad thing, but it's also not a great leader, right?
yeah.
They're very crazy, manic depressive leader just drives everybody nuts. It
Or it's
doesn't.
not wise. Even if you don't think that you're a leader, it's just not a wise way to live. It's just a bunch of pain waiting to happen.
Well, I'm just talking about leading ourselves, right? If
Oh,
we,
I got you.
yeah,
Okay.
it's the same thing as you're saying about our emotions being in the driver's seat. That's we're allowing our emotions to lead us, and it leads us crazy stuff. I just today, great synchronicity. I got this Far Side cartoon, and there was this cliff, and there was this dog, and there was a bird, and there's the birds out flying out, and the dog's jumping off the cliff, and it said something along, anger sometimes doesn't lead us in the best direction, right?
Right.
And it's just a funny illustration, and I could give lots of my own life examples as well, where the emotion is an impulse, and the impulse is telling us something. But can we? This is I think a word for this would be maturity. Can we override the impulse to do the best thing rather than the thing I just feel like doing right now? Because that, not just on the negative side, but even on the positive side, Steve, well, there's been a lot of times when I just wanted to do something because it was going to be so awesome. And it turns out it was outside of the bounds. It was out of the rules. It didn't turn out to be the best thing, even though it felt really good in the moment, right? And so
Right.
I think this idea, this is actually also an idea about around emotional intelligence. I talk about on our show here that we're trying to increase your HQ, your happy quotient. Well, there's an actual thing called EQ, emotional intelligence, which is separate from IQ. And emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize my emotions, to manage them well, to recognize and acknowledge other people's emotions, which we talked about in the last episode, and then to handle that relationship well. Those are the four components of emotional intelligence. And I got to tell you, when I just let my feelings take the lead my life, I'm at the mercy of some pretty crazy decisions. But if I can view them right, like dispassionately view my emotions as an observer and say, hey, no judgment on you emotions, but you're not going to make the decision now because it's not going to be good in the long run, right? It's like,
You just described what I was saying in a very succinct, almost scientific way. That's why I say it. I'm sorry, forgive me when I don't feel it. And I've
yes,
never looked at it before as, you know, um, but that's emotional wisdom. It's emotional intelligence to
right,
just say it.
yep,
Because if I wait to feel it, it's going to be a long time if it ever happens. You don't have to feel it to say it. When
yes,
you say it, you are taking charge of your emotions and you're being very emotionally intelligent at that point. So that's why when it comes to the prayer, when I've heard somebody, when you, and here's the good news, when you've trained yourself to do that, sometimes it's just a knee-jerk reaction. You just say I'm sorry, like and then it takes all the pressure off. Instead of I got to explain myself, I've got to wait for this to happen, I've got to wait to calm down. When I say I'm sorry, please forgive me, because I am sorry. I might not be sorry about, I mean, I'm sorry that I hurt them. I might not like the direction that they took. I might not be sorry about that. I might not be sorry about their decision. I might not be sorry about how they responded or even how they acted to get me to get that way in the first place. Or the truth is, I took the bait if they did. The truth is, my actions
yes,
are on me. But I am sorry that I hurt their feelings. I am sorry if I caused any bit of negativity, any bit of pain, sorrow, anything like that. I am sorry for that. And I might not even have been wrong with what I did. I can still say I'm sorry. Saying you're sorry doesn't mean that you're wrong. It means that you're sorry that they're in that situation. And you said something at one of our other happy half hour lives that I just love. You said that's what responsibility is, or maybe it was in the podcast that we did. By the way, check us out. We did a podcast. I interviewed Joe for my podcast. Just search Happy Life Studios and you'll find it. And it's good. It's called Stuff Happens. Right.
right.
And you can get there by going to happylife.studio. But you said something in there where you talked about how okay, my brain is wanting to go somewhere, it's wanting to get lost right now. You said something like, oh, responsibility. You said responsibility isn't being, means I'm responsible for what happened. It means I have the ability to respond
Yes.
to what's going on in my life. You want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, and this is so important in my own emotional intelligence growth, Steve, is because I thought responsibility means it's my fault. And what I've adopted is that no, responsibility isn't saying it's my fault. It's saying, do I have the ability to respond? So I'm going to pin this on a story to help illustrate what we're talking about. So for 3 years during my teenage years, my mom married my stepfather, who was not a good man. He was not kind. He was very narcissistic. Never necessarily diagnosed as narcissistic technically, but had a lot of those behaviors. And he said some of the most hurtful things. He intimidated me to tears so many times, Steve, that sometime in that 3 year span, my tears just stopped flowing. They just stopped working. It wasn't like a conscious
Wow.
decision, but I was so upset so often by this guy that I just my insides closed up and said, "Fine, I'm not going to show this emotion anymore." And so I shut off my tears, not even consciously. But years later, after all this, not physical abuse, but it certainly was emotional abuse. Um, I was driving home from my youth group from my church, and I really felt this compulsion, which I know didn't come from me, Steve, because here's what it said. It said, you need to ask forgiveness of your
Wow.
stepfather. And I said, excuse me?
Right.
I was a
I'm the one hurt here.
I was a little upset here, right? I need to ask him for forgiveness? Are you kidding me? I was like, you've is this candid camera? Right?
I must from
Right. Oh shit! Right. I'll show you who deserves what. And the
I've got your forgiveness right here,
yeah,
pal.
I got you right. And the voice stayed at it very, very, very lovingly. It wasn't judgmental. This voice inside of me, which again I would claim to be God's spirit, and it was saying, "No, Joe, I'm not telling you that what he did was right. I'm not even asking you to forgive him. I'm asking you, Joe, to ask his forgiveness." I'm like, for what?
Yeah.
Then because listen to your voice right now. Listen to the emotion. Do you have perhaps any bitterness towards this man? I'm like,
Mm.
yeah, I do, and I have every right to be bitter. And this,
And you do.
I do,
You
I did
do. Yep.
exactly. I was the victim, right? And the voice was saying, and is that the bitterness you want to carry around with you for the rest of your life? At this time,
Mm.
I was probably 16, maybe 17 years old. I'm like, no. So how do you think you're going to get rid of that? I said, "You're going to tell me, aren't you?" He said, "Yes, yes." He said, "I." It's almost like I dare you. I encourage you to ask forgiveness of this man who abused you for the feelings, the negative feelings that you hold against him, right? And so I didn't know Ho'opono practice at this time, but I stopped at this guy's house, and he had this long stairwell up to the back door, which is the door he used because that's where we lived with him. And every step I felt like I weighed 1,000 pounds, and I was praying, "Don't be home, don't be home, please don't be home,
Right.
don't be home,
Right.
don't be home, don't be home, don't answer the door." And it was excruciating, right? And I was like, "Oh God, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, but I need to, but I don't want to." So my emotions, to back to earlier part of our discussion, my emotions said, run away, and
They
flip him.
were fighting you for that steering wheel, weren't they?
Oh my God, they were. I could feel it in my body. They were making me feel heavy, so I would run away and I would put my middle finger in the air and say "F you," right? That's what I wanted to. That's what my emotions wanted to do. And the mature part of me, the spirit inside of me, said, "You can do that, and that's going to haunt you the rest of your life. That's going to be baggage in your backpack." So I made this ridiculous climb. It was like climbing out of the Grand Canyon, and I knocked on his door, literally praying he wouldn't be home, and immediately answers his door. "Joe, what's up? So good to see you." And I was like, hi. I said, I don't know how to say this, so I'm just gonna say it. He's like, "Yeah, whatever, man. So what, you want to come in?" I said, "No, I don't want to come in. I just want to say I'm sorry." He's like, "Sorry for what?" I said, "I'm sorry for the really negative, awful feelings I've had towards you." He's like, "What for?" I was like, "For all the stuff that happened while we lived with you." He's like, "All right, whatever. You want to have dinner? You want to come in for dinner? Play cribbage?" And I was like, "No, no, I don't want to play cribbage. I don't want to have dinner. I just needed to ask you forgiveness for the negative feelings I was harboring." He says, "Okay, done." And then I turned around. He says, "Stop by anytime." So I'm walking down the stairs, and now instead of feeling like I weighed 1,000 pounds, I felt like I was light as a feather. I mean, I don't remember touching the stairs going down. I was like, I was free. I was floating, and it was this simple Ho'opono practice. "I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you." I didn't say I love you because that would have been a stretch in the moment, but it was an act of love for me, by the way, an act of obedience, and also to free myself from the baggage of being a victim.
Yeah.
I was being responsible. I was able to respond. And I got to tell you, Steve, that is one of the most difficult and yet most rewarding things I've ever done in my life.
Yeah. Oh, I could imagine. What a great story. Thank you for being so vulnerable. I remember a time, and this continues to happen. I mean, here and there that happens, but I'm in the car with my wife, and we both hurt each other's feelings. We didn't understand what the other person was saying, and we were just ticked off. And so, what we're doing, we're each looking out at our window. I'm driving, looking out this window. She's sitting there looking out that window, and the whole time, man, my feelings are like, keep looking out the window. She deserves
Yeah.
your side of your face. She deserves the back of your head. She deserves she. And my emotions are just trying to grab the steering wheel of my life and steer.
Yeah.
But there's another part of me, the same thing that the spirit of me that was just saying, no, Steve, say you're sorry. Say you're sorry. If you hurt her feelings, say you're sorry about that, or you're sorry that she's sad or she's whatever. And I wrestled. Those two wrestled over that steering wheel of my life for quite a while. When
Absolutely.
I finally looked over to her and I said, "I'm sorry, babe. I'm sorry." And she was sorry too. And then we went from feeling like 1,000,000 pounds to light as a feather.
Yeah.
I've had other times where I wasn't the first one to say it. and the other one was to say it. And then I still felt light, but then I was like, oh, dude, you should have said it first. Why did you have to wait to? Because when one of the two or three or 10 or however it is, when one of them says, "I'm sorry, guys," everyone else is like, "Oh, I should have said that. I should have. I can't believe I didn't." And now we're not getting angry with them or upset with them. We're getting with ourselves, going, "Why didn't I say that first?" Because the freedom in the Ho'oponopono concept, the freedom
Yes.
in "I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you," right? And it doesn't even matter the order necessarily, right?
No, the order makes no difference.
The
Right.
power in those words that just make us just feel so right. And yet there's so many people looking for happy, but they don't look like this. That's why our happy life is green,
Right.
right? That's why our smiley face, because it's a different happy than others. It's a happy that is more resilient. It handles life a lot better. And this is one way to get that. A Ho'opono prayer, just saying out loud, even if they're not in the room, saying, "I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you." Um, that's a happy that is not based upon circumstances. And when that happens, usually the other person says they're sorry too. And you're like, I remember thinking when that happened with my wife and I was like, why didn't I say that sooner? We could have had a good trip, right? But
Right.
instead, we were the whole trip, we're just staring out our window, and trying to, I don't know, prove a point or whatever. But when I finally said, I'm sorry, and she said she was sorry, we were best buds again. We were best buds anyway. But when you get close to somebody, you're going to step on the right. If you're on a dance floor and the dance of life is like a dance. And here's another analogy other than the roller coaster. And the people on the other side of the room, the people on the other side of the dance floor, they're not going to step on your feet. They're not going to step on your toes. Who's going to step on your toes? The one that's closest to you. And every time you get close with somebody, you're risking them stepping on your toes. What happens here, though, what we often do is when someone hurts us, it's an opportunity for us to get even closer. Talk about emotional intelligence here. When I get hurt by somebody, I can either say I'm not dancing with them anymore, or I can tell them that hurt. Right? You stepped on my toes right there. If you will work through that, you're this close. You are this close to breaking through and entering another level of friendship, another level of relationship, whether that's with a spouse, whether it's with a lover, a friend, a coworker.
The
If you'll
child.
work through
Yes.
that,
Right.
think about it. It happened with you when you went up there and did that. You reached another level of friendship with that friend because you said that, because you said if when someone steps on our toes, we realize they stepped on our toes because they were close to us. Don't ruin that because your toes hurt. Instead, say, that hurt me. Talk through that. And if you will both be willing to talk through that, and then say, well, they're not going to talk through it. Well, you're not responsible for them, but I am responsible for me. And so when we talk through that, we are about to enter, just look at it this way, we are about to enter a new level of relationship with that person, a better level of relationship with that person, if we will work through that. But if we just walk away, we could end that friendship as well.
Right. It's really good, Steve. In fact, you just made an amazing point. I don't want people to miss is that I am not responsible for what someone else does, says, whether or not they even receive what I have to say. That's actually not the point. The point is, am I responsible? Am I able to respond? Am I able to respond in the way that is best for me? It's actually best for them as well, but I cannot control whether they receive it. Which
Yeah.
reminds me, too, Steve, of the other part of my song, which I'll play here before we close, is based on the Serenity Prayer, which is really interesting to me because you have done a great job of tying happy to being at peace or to contentment,
Hmm.
right? Happy isn't always happy, happy, joy, joy. Sometimes happy is things are good. I'm good,
I'm
right?
gonna be okay.
Inside,
Yeah.
I'm going to be okay. And I quote Brendan Burchard a lot because I love his perspective. And he says, a lot of people say happiness is, I got to go pursue it. And pursuing something, I've talked about this before, you pursue something, it runs away like a wild rabbit. That's the picture in my mind. He didn't say that. That's just the way I pictured it. But I'm thinking, so, okay, I want happiness, but I shouldn't pursue it. Well, what do I do? And I've decided the best thing is to pursue wholeness because when I'm whole, I'm at peace,
Right.
content, and happy. That little crazy wild rabbit actually feels no threat, comes up, sits down right next to me, and becomes my companion. And wholeness is part of what the Ho'opono practice is about.
That's what I was just going to say. That's what
It,
that does.
yes,
Yeah.
it heals me. It makes me whole, but it also restores fragmented and fractioned relationships.
Wow.
Well, we're all one. And so it starts to put back together the pieces. And when we pursue wholeness, happiness is like, oh, that's a good place to live. Yeah, I feel safe there. And
Yeah.
happiness comes up, sits down next to us.
Play us your song, man. You
Yeah.
wrote a song
Yeah.
called the Ho'opono Prayer, and you mixed it with something else, didn't you?
With the serenity prayer, yeah, which is God grant me the serenity, which is peace of mind, to accept the things I cannot change, which is other people or circumstances, to the courage to change the things I can. The only thing I can really change is me, right? And the wisdom to know the difference. And that prayer was on my grandmother's wall when I was growing up because she was going through the AA program because she was battling her own demons with alcoholism. So I took the Ho'opono practice, and the Serenity prayer, and I put them together into this song. This is actually the first song that I ever wrote that I'm proud of anyway. Besides the little ones I've made up for myself.
I love it. That I'm proud of it.
I'm sorry, forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, forgive me. Thank you, I love you. God grant me serenity, change the things I can. God grants me serenity to surrender the things I can't. God grants me serenity, change the things I can. God grants me serenity to surrender the things I can't. And the wisdom to know the difference. I need your wisdom to know the difference. Give me your wisdom to know the difference. I need your wisdom to know the difference. I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you. God grants me serenity, change things I can. God grants me serenity to surrender the things I can't. God grants me serenity, change things I can. Yeah, God grants me serenity to surrender the things I can't. And the wisdom to know the difference. I need your wisdom to know the difference. Give me your wisdom to know the difference. I need your wisdom to know the difference. 2, 3, 5.
Woo! Yeah.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, how can we get that? I know you have that somewhere. How can we get that song or listen to that song?
Yeah,
You have
so
a
just
link?
well, if you go to mojo.studio, mojoe.studio, it's a link tree, and then follow the link to my YouTube channel. And I've got a whole playlist there of songs that I've covered and then the originals that I've written. I think there's 4 now songs that I've written and composed, 2 now, which have been published and released to the world on all platforms.
Woo!
But you can find my music at mojo.studio. Steve, I just got to tell you, we for the world who's listening, we didn't script this. Actually, this is one of the first times since we launched Happy Half Hour. We didn't even say, what topic do you have on your mind? We didn't even have that discussion. We just launched. We said hit press live. We started recording it, and the flow that I have with you, brother, is extraordinary. And the things that we talk about and the way the conversation goes and how deep it goes and how important it goes. And the fact that we're not just saying, hey, put on a happy smile all the time. That's not what we're
Right.
saying. We're
Right.
saying that happiness is much deeper than that. So I'm just so happy.
Thank
I'm
you.
happy to be part of this with you.
Both ways, and to tie in kind of what we talk about as well too. And we don't never necessarily think about this. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. That really makes me feel good. But it also means I'm getting close to you. Like you're my bro, you're my friend. I'm letting you close to my heart, to my brain, especially when you say something like that. So the odds of me stepping on your toes, you're stepping on mine, are
Yeah.
pretty high,
Right.
right? But
Right.
I still think it's worth it to pursue. And one reason why we have this rapport, whatever it is with each other, you're so easy to do this with, Joe. Well, it's because we have gone through those moments together.
Right.
And when you get through them, it's
Yep.
so much better, man. It's so
Yes.
much better.
That's
I
it.
mean, if we want to keep people at a distance so we don't get hurt, then we live our life without love. That's not a full existence either.
Yeah. Yeah.
The risk of getting hurt, the love on the other side, it really is worth it. Even though when it happens, it doesn't feel like it. But I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you is a great exercise to say over
Yeah.
yourself and over other people as well. So, Joe, I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. And thank you.
It's Steve O. Hayes. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And as Happy, who's our guest here to live, and also the founder of Chatmosa, CHA2MOSA.com, who created this platform where we were using to broadcast to all platforms, not live, but after the fact. And I just want to say thank you to Happy. We're so grateful for what you've done.
Yeah.
But there was something else on my mind I wanted to say, and what was
Out
it?
live about it being
That's
happy
love.
half
Yes.
hour live.
That's right. So Happy pointed out beforehand and now during the show that we are the happy half hour live. And live sets us apart because there's lots of happy half hours out there. There's lots of happy hours out there, but we're happy half hour live. And what does that mean? That means that we are unscripted. We're letting this come from our hearts and our heads in the moment. And so you're getting it very organic. What you see is what you get. This is us.
Right on. Right on. Thank
Oh,
you guys. We
how
sure
do we end the
appreciate you
show?
coming
Ever
and
Steve?
joining us.
I say peace out, brother, and you say
Peace in, brother.
woo. See you next time.